Hello and welcome back to class. In our last class we discussed using and creating bins. So in this lesson we would be discussing sequence and timeline basics. So let's jump right in. What is a sequence? Well, a sequence is where you put all your video clips, sequence and pictures together to make a complete video. Think of it like a page in a comic book. Each panel or clip is placed in order to tell a story. So if you would like to create sequences or you want to understand what sequences mean, you can come right here. This lower part of the project panel, you come right here, you click on new item, you look for the new item button. It's like a page with dog ears. Then you come way up to sequence and you right click. So this dialog box pops up, and this dialog box is responsible for what your video size looks like. We have different variations, we have different measurement and dimensions to videos. So this gives you the full details of what dimension you will be using. But do not worry if your videos carry different dimensions and variations. You can always switch them and change them, because Premiere Pro is going to pop up an option to either change it or keep the existing settings you have set for your sequence. So in this dialog box now we have the HD 1080p, that is 23 frames per second, and the HD 1080p, that is 25 frames per second. We also have the HD 1080p, that is 29.97 frames per second, and we have the HD 1080p, that is 50 frames per second. So depending on how you shot your video, some for cinematic and professional shooting or for slow-mo purposes, a lot of people shoot in higher frame rate, which is the 50 frame rate or the 59.94 frame rate. So in this lesson we may just be going with the first option, which is 23.976 frames per second. So you may want to name your sequence. Let's do this as teenagers. Let's name this sequence teenagers and press OK. So you can see the sequence is created, it pops in the timeline right here, and you are ready to go. So what is timeline? Well, timeline is where you arrange all and edit all the parts of your videos, like video clips, music and images in the sequence you want them to play. So since we have created the sequence, we are ready to start doing whatever we want. See it more like you are trying to now start to draw what you want in your vision. So I have a couple of clips here. If you would like to access these clips, you can always go into the file, import. There's going to be under documents, you are going to be having a sequence project files. It's for sequence basics project files. So you are going to be having all the files you need in this lesson. So you are going to be importing them. Since I've already imported them, I do not need to import them again. So I'm going to click in on cancel. So what is the timeline? Like I said, this is where you line up all events. For example, I have videos here I would like to line up. I would like to first preview them in the preview monitor, and this is it. So I have a video of teenagers dancing, which is quite slow. Right here I also have videos of teenagers that are playing. They look quite funny. And I also have videos of two teenagers discussing. So how do we tend to go about this? Well, if you want to start using the timeline panel, first things you need to do is to drag your clips. So I can decide to select everything right here, but I wouldn't want to be picking the sequence, the teenager sequence, to drop into the timeline. That is not the way it works. Well, I can select and I'll be holding the shift key, shift click to select, shift click to select, then I'll be dragging everything right into my timeline. So like I said earlier, if your sequence settings mismatch with your videos, all you can just do is to change the sequence settings, and Premiere Pro will adjust the sequence settings to what the video has originally. So we're going to be changing that. So I'll click on change sequence settings right here. So So now one thing you also need to notice is that because I have different videos that do not have the same sequence settings, one of the things I will now choose to do is to actually match, or what I'll do is to click on Ctrl Z and I'll do this again. So one of the first things I'll be doing is I would like to have these videos matched in their sequence settings. So I'll be clicking these two of them, I'll be dragging into the timeline. So I'll be changing sequence settings again just to match this. Then for the last one, I'll be clicking, I'll be holding, and I'll be dragging. Why this one is like this is because it's in 4K. So what you just need to do is to come down here, come to scale, and reduce this to fit the perfect size. There we go. So I'm going to be going back. So now what you just basically need to do is to be arranging clips in the right order, depending on what your story tells you. So you need to imagine it like organizing puzzle pieces. Each clip is a piece and you put them together on the timeline to make the picture or the video that you have in mind. So in this video right here, we have, let's preview again. We have teenagers talking. Well, in the second clip we will move forward, and if you would like to always move forward, this blue line that goes down right here is your playhead. So you are going to be using it to move and see what goes on in your program monitor. So this playhead right here actually allows you to see things. So I would like to go to the second clip and see what they did here. This is where they were playing, all well and good, and this is where they were dancing. So one of the first things I would like to do is to actually move this clip to the front in an arrangement format, move this one forward to create space for the second one, and move this one down right here. I can choose all of them to stay on the same layers. So do not panic, I'll still be explaining more in subsequent videos on what and how you should go about your timeline. So this is the arrangement I would like to have. So I would like to have the teenagers playing first, then it goes to where these two teenagers are having a dialogue, then I'll go right next into where this set of teenagers are dancing. So one of the things that could make this more fun is to actually add her music right here. So I'll be doing this, I'll be dragging and I'll be dropping. So when we play this is what we have. Oh, this is amazing. So you can actually zoom in and zoom out of your timeline. And how do you do that? So one of the tricks you use to zoom in and zoom out of your timeline, if you feel your timeline is so small, is to come right to the top of the sequence tab and double click on this. So when you double click on this, it maximizes the panel and you can have more room to actually move and arrange clips the way you want them. So you can see you have more room and more space to actually arrange your clips. So if you would like to expand and reduce what your panel looks like, you need to come down right here where you have this lever, this horizontal lever, then you left click, you hold it and you drag it, and in that case you see your videos inside your timeline panel trying to look so small. They are going to be zooming in. Do you understand? So if you would also feel like these tracks or these layers are quite too big, you can always come here to the vertical levers and pull this, left click, you hold it and you pull it down or you pull it up, depending on how it suits your vision. So you can also do the same for the audio layers, because the Premiere divides the audio and the video layers. The video layers are the upper layers, while the audio layers are the lower layers. So you need to take note of this very thick line that separates the two. So in short, the timeline is where you arrange all your clips to make your videos. Each clip plays one after the other, like scenes in a story, using tracks helps you keep everything organized, like layers in a drawing. So there we go. I guess that will be all for the sequence basics project. So in our next class, I'll be teaching you how to be selecting and moving clips properly in Adobe Premiere Pro. So bye for now. See you in the next class.